Happy June, everybody! I hope you've had a good May. I certainly have. The £120 Greenote GSC50 has been really good, actually. I've not been left wanting with it at all, certainly not for its price point. It has done everything I have wanted and is indeed right now quite full after a couple of days of use. So let's go through how it's coped, what it looks like now, and the state of the thing, and then I'll show you what cordless vacuum cleaner curveball, because you don't know that I've got one of these yet, I don't think, we will use for June. Let's have a look. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner chums, how are you today? Yes, this whole cordless vacuums for as long as I can use cordless vacuums for before I run out. 2022 isn't going too badly, actually, and I sort of thought this one would be quite nice, and I've not been terribly wrong either, really. The floor brush, the wand's been very good. It is just a telescopic wand. I can't say I've done anything more than put it up and then leave it, because of course you can leave it on this one because the machine stands up by itself very nicely indeed with the clickiness of the floor head. The floor head has been very nice indeed. It won't set the world on fire with its deep cleaning abilities, but equally it's picked up everything that I've thrown at it, bar when I tried to pick up a piece of gaffer tape the other day that I pulled off of something else and it got caught about halfway down there, which did necessitate a little bit of rodding with a long screwdriver to reach about there. But I'm not going to blame the machine for that because, you know, shouldn't pick up big bits of gaffer tape, really. Side of here is pretty filthy, but again, unlike some, you can just take the brush roll out and get to the entire thing to clean it very nicely indeed. That's something that these clear-headed cleaner heads need because, yeah, they do get filthy. I can't say I've really chucked this through anything too bad, but as you can see, it's already quite dirty. The brush roll is, again, a little bit dirty actually. It could probably do with a wash, which I think I will give it because it should be absolutely fine. And yeah, underneath the end cap is pretty clean. The little bearing still spins nicely. And yeah, so this, it's almost a shame this bit isn't a bit longer because then it would groom slightly better. I have perhaps had to push it twice over a particularly stubborn piece of fluff because, yeah, these two are soft and then this one is hard. But it's this one that's hard that, yeah, stops this machine from being really terrible. That makes it alright, really. I mean, you wouldn't want to use it for extreme filth unless you're on hard floors. But, you know, you use it every day like a cordless stick vacuum cleaner, in and around a bigger clean, and it's very good indeed. Yeah, certainly a lot better than the GSC40 that Greenote made, which just has the fluffy brush roll. Not a fan of that, I have to say, because I don't just have hard floors, I have carpet as well. So that's been pretty good. You can see the machine itself is set up in this mode because not just a couple of hours ago I cleaned my desk with it. I haven't really used this dusting brush because, I don't know, I'm not a fan of these, especially for bits, because you end up either having to sort of chase them around and scoop them up, or they push them about. All I have been doing is either getting out the MBV with its hose, proper dusting brush, or I just use the crevice tool, which does a fine job of picking the bits up. And that's all I really have is bits, not dust, bits. You can see in the bin, look, bits of birdseed and the fluff off the floor. You know, it's all there really. It also highlights the fact that this, like many others, does do its fair share of, you know, getting caught around places like, you know, more expensive cleaners do. Under here is still spotless, despite this having a pleated HEPA filter. It's not paper, it's fabricy, HEPA-y type job. It's pretty clean really. But inside of there, now I've been doing this about every week, haven't done it for a couple of days. In fact, if we do this back together, show you that there is still some suction there, certainly enough to get little bits and bobs up, but yes, it does need a clean, and it's pretty easy to clean. I've just been, stand back a bit, taking this bit off, which does hold the majority of the dirt, and cleaning that off as I go. There we go, that is now back to being quite see-through, and then this I'll just tap off on the bin itself, and yeah, it does hold the dust. I mean, you do get 2 of these in the box. I haven't used the second one, I've just used the one. So we've had this out for a month now. I would be, as I will be, chucking this in the washing machine and putting the other filter in and going again for another month, and then just doing that in reverse. That is the one thing I recommend with any bagless vacuum cleaner, actually. Buy a second set of filters. I did it on my Shark CV100, but for that you need, well, probably 1 for every week of the month, so you'd be buying 5 or 6, whereas this, again, you just tap this off on the bin, get the majority of it off, and then put it back in and you'll be fine. This will now be washed. They go through the washing machine very nicely, and it will come up like new. Inside the bin, well, the shroud does get, again, this is why you have to empty it fairly frequently, because the shroud does get its fair share of dust caught on it, and there's no scraper mechanism or anything really to stop that from happening. But by and large, for its price point, it picks up a nice amount of fluff. Look, there we go, there's some bigger bits in there, little bits, and just lots and lots of bird seed bits and bobs and everything else. But I actually quite, I now can't refit this, I don't think, because we've got dirt under there. So, oh well, I was going to chuck it back down and clean it all up, but I can't now because I managed to put the dirt underneath where this needs to sit. But having used 2 of these now and having pretty much the same results with each, I do like the Greenote cordless vacuum cleaners. I think they have a very good price point for what they are. They do the job very, very well. So, that was this for a month. Let me clean this up and show you what I'm going to use for June. The vacuum cleaner for my month of June is going to be a Dyson V7 Motorhead. Yes, I have had a Dyson V7 in my house now for, well, quite a while. I mean, I see lots of these. I must refurbish 4 or 5 a month now, these V6 and the V8. This one is slightly different though. This one actually belongs to an acquaintance of mine from a car forum. He said, take the charger off and out the way. I was only on it so I didn't lose it. We have a charger. He brought this to me saying it kept cutting out. And he was pretty sure it wasn't the battery, but he'd use it and it would cut out. And I was fairly sure it was the battery, to be honest. But he left it with me, and I've had it for a while now without doing too much with it. But now we have done something with it. I have put a new battery on it, and I have fully refurbished it, although obviously pulled the trigger a few times on it. So it's going to be interesting to see if it does keep cutting out or not. We have a washed filter. Inside is absolutely spotless. It's had the full work done to it, as per always. It's even had the talcum powder put around the top, otherwise the scraper grips far too hard. And yeah, I now have, a V7. I did this because I had another one in, hence why this one still says mine on it in red Sharpie, so I didn't accidentally give away one that might have issues to the customer very nicely, through no fault of her own, because I used a profit from that job to buy a new battery for this and basically do this for free. So my hope is that I'm going to use this for a month, and if it doesn't cut out, if it is fine, then it's fixed and I can give it back to my friend. Don't need to worry about things getting damaged because the wand is already super loose, as it always does. The wheels are already starting to wear, but everything else is pretty standard, typical Dyson fare all round. However, this is all I've got, so you'll see sitting here next to me one of my Manchester Vacs tool adapters. I have lots of the old style Dyson tools, and all I'm really going to need, let's be honest, is a crevice tool, which I have here. So I think that's going to do us really. I've got the MBV for if I want to do a proper clean with a hose. Heck, I've got 50 other vacuum cleaners that I can get out if I want to do a better clean than with this. So we'll keep that with it because that's cool. But yeah, not had a Dyson since my V11, which is now long gone. So you can still buy these. I mean, I suppose compared to the Greenote, there's not much difference to the actual machine. You know, it's a simple trigger vacuum cleaner, although the Greenote stays on. This, you have to hold the trigger, and obviously the Greenote has a pleated paper filter, but then again these fill their filters up from the inside, and you don't know until they start cutting out. So this costs £250 still. It's out of stock at Dyson UK, which doesn't really say a lot because everything's always out of stock on Dyson UK because they just drop ship everything from China nowadays. But the old ancient venerable V7 could still be classed as a modern vacuum cleaner. I'm hoping it's going to be quite nice to use. Let's clean up this dust. There we go. Put it in high. Which I probably won't do too much. I wouldn't use this as a deep cleaner anyway. Just a pushing it around the place sort of job. But yeah, it hasn't cut out yet. I'm not entirely sure it's going to. Because when these cut out, it is normally always the battery. They just don't know. In fact, I read an article the other day. It was on Hacker News or one of the hacky websites. Somebody took apart the original battery, not one of these fake cheapy Vanon ones, and they've got no BMS. They've got no balancing at all. So when one cell drops a little bit, the whole pack is scrapped, which is why you see Vs and V6s and V7s, and it'll probably be the V10, V11 and V15 in short order with dead knackered batteries. This one seems to be working fine now. We have some dirt in it, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that its problem before was the battery. Yeah, if it survives the month, hopefully I can give it back to its owner and he can have it back, and I can say very honestly that I've tested the heck out of it by using it for a month. So there we go, really. We're back to a Dyson, an older, although still sold Dyson. This is now the runt of their cordless litter. I don't think it's going to be very long before it's not sold anymore. Might be why it's out of stock already, but that's normally just because Dyson don't keep stock in the UK. We'll see how filthy the floor head gets. As you can see, it's very chipped and battered and whatnot, although the black brushes are remarkably intact, which is good. I think this is the era where they weren't too bad. They sort of versioned out all of the problems with the carbon fibre bristles. So yeah, all I have is this. There's no fluffy head, there's no dock, there's no fancy tools, although again I could find some, but since all I'm going to use is this, it doesn't seem much point in buying all of the, this style of tools for it, when this will do nicely. So, when was the last time you used a Dyson V7, and what's your opinion of it? Do you think it's just an old rubbish machine now that isn't really worth the time of day compared to the V11 or the V15, or do you think it's still quite a competent little hand vac all in? Because yeah, that's what I use these for really. I'm not the sort of person that really likes to use a cordless stick vacuum as their main vac. The MBV does get away with it, but mainly because my house quite likes it. That's not going to be true for everybody, but for the old pushing it around in between meetings and when the kids make a mess, I think this could be quite good. So there we go, really. I have surprised Dyson V7 and we're going to use it for the month of June. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and this will see you soon. Bye bye.